Hi, so I'm Maddie and I'm going to summarize an article from nature.com. It's called Nitrogen Fixation in Two Coastal Upwelling Regions in the Taiwan Strait. It was published in December of 2017 and it basically examines the correlation between SST, which is sea surface temperature, nitrogen fixation, and upwelling in the Taiwan Strait. This is really important because nitrogen fixation is a really important ecosystem booster in the fact that it allows nitrogen to become bioavailable to organisms in the environment. So what they hypothesized was that due to the monsoons causing low temperature, water turbidity, and a low nitrogen to phosphorus ratio, which is technically nutrient deficient, that the northeast region of the Taiwan Strait would not be considered an ideal region for nitrogen fixation, but they conducted the study and actually found that it was ideal for nitrogen fixation. So now they're going to go into a little bit of how they interpreted that. So what they discovered was rather than the nitrogen fixation rate being completely dependent on this nitrogen to phosphorus ratio, they actually found that it was more positively influenced by a low sea surface temperature and just a high amount of phosphorus, which both were caused by the monsoons bringing in the amounts of nutrients and the low sea surface temperatures. So it turned out that the nitrogen content in the water didn't actually matter. So what they concluded was that the diazotrophs that were doing the nitrogen fixation were just performing better in lower temperatures, and this is how they were able to overcome a nitrogen deficient environment, because usually that is not suitable for organisms. Also, it is important to note that there was another important element in the mix, iron. This has been found to increase the nitrogen fixation rate as well. So this is where upwelling comes in, as increased upwelling is caused by the monsoons. Iron from shallow nearby sediments is brought in, and it promotes the nitrogen fixation along with this low nitrogen phosphorus ratio as well as the low sea surface temperature. So this is relevant because obviously we learned a lot about monsoons and upwelling and how the movement of water is affected by insolation, SST, salinity, etc. And this movement of water is completely has a direct effect on the biosphere, because in typical situations, the more nitrogen fixation you have, the better suited and the more nutritious an environment is for the organisms that live there. Thank you.